Hi guys, Tylord here with my $100 NES Collection Challenge video. I think this trend was started with Megadan and NES Addict, and it's been going all over the place. I've been enjoying watching these. I thought they'd gone away, but they came back. I recently just watched Do You Nerd and Back in the Day Gamer and a few other ones. Started with Megadan. Enjoyed I really enjoyed this topic about trying to start a collection for $100. Try to put some of your favorites in there, but also be mindful of the prices. So maybe put some games that are the best bang for the buck, like cheap games that are enjoyable, that you can get a lot of time out of, and maybe a variety of different genres. I don't know if I did that too well, but just to start a nice little NES collection for $100. If you get down to it, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, you could just emulate all this stuff perfectly on PC. But you know, it's not the same as having the cartridges, plugging them into a CRT. I still have I have a few nice CRT TVs that I play old retro systems on. So I haven't gotten out of that trend. You don't have to worry about booting up anything or logging in. Just pop them in and play. Usually, I don't know, sometimes you have to mess with them a bit, like give them some moisture so you get good connection on the pins. But anyway, I'll start with my list here. Yeah, like I said, I've been enjoying these, so I thought it'd be fun to start doing them. I did one on PlayStation 2, which was pretty easy to get a good collection for $100. It was kind of tough with this. I think I got 8 games. Yeah, 8 games right here, which is pretty good for Nintendo. But I'll start off with one I had to put on there. And this was one of the more expensive ones on the list, but I had to have it on there for a collection because I can't have a Nintendo collection without the original Metroid. One of my all-time favorite video games. It started that Metroid style that a lot of games have now, the 2D ones, where it's sort of an open map. You can traverse different areas, look for items to unlock new areas. And this was all done back in the mid 80s right here on Metroid. Really good atmosphere. I don't think it's that big of a game as far as the MIGs. But it packs a lot into this. Like, really felt like a big epic space adventure, kind of horror, kind of had an alien vibe. Really fun to look around, power up Samus there. A couple bosses. I think there's only 2 or 3 bosses, but they're pretty challenging. But this is another game where if you just like grind a lot on getting your energy up, like you find all the energy tanks and rocket containers or whatever to fire more rockets to have more energy, but it takes forever to fill up the energy bars. So you gotta like, kind of, sometimes before you go fight a boss, you have to go grind out energy pellets. But very, very fun game. Like, I can't get enough of this one. It's been a long time since I played it, but every time I pop it in, it's enjoyable. The music and atmosphere in here is great. Some of the best music on NES, Nintendo Entertainment System. Okay, so I had to have a Mario game on there. I think the best bang for the buck would be the 3-pack. I'm not counting the dust sleeves, just disregard these dust sleeves. I think the best bang for the buck with Mario games would be the Mario Duck Hunt World Class Track Meet 3-pack, because this is cheaper than the standalone Mario. Which is more expensive, and it's more expensive than Super Mario 2, or it's less expensive than Mario 2 and 3. I could have put any one of those 3 games on here, but this was the most bang for the buck. I think everything I like about Mario is in this first game. This is the game that made me a gamer. When I went over to my friend's house and he played this game, it was like no other game I'd seen him play before. He had older computer systems and stuff before, but once I went over there and saw him playing this game and I tried it out, like, I had to have this. I think maybe the next Christmas or a couple Christmas later, my folks got one for the family, and that was the first game we played on there. Even my dad played this game. Fantastic game. It doesn't age. I hear it's not getting the respect it used to get. I hear mostly people talk about Super Mario 3, but this was, for the time, fantastic. Like side-scrolling levels, really good speed, really precise control, really big, epic adventure to save the princess. Go set 8 different castles at the end, 8 worlds with a castle at the end of each of them. Very fun stuff. Like really precise gameplay. That has to be on there. Here's another one I had to put on there. Oh yeah, this one was $6.25. We're going by price charting now. That was the rule of these videos, I guess, or the unwritten rule. Okay, I had to have this one on here. I spent a little bit more than some of the other ones. $14.90 for Ninja Gaiden. And this is another one like Mario, where I just freaking love the pacing. Like it moves so smoothly and so fast. A lot of people knock it for having like the knockback physics, where you get knocked back and the enemies respawn once you like exit. Like the screen moves around depending on where the enemy spawns. They respawn if you move in and out of that area. But if you keep on the pace you're supposed to on this game, I keep moving forward, that doesn't really affect you. It's a really fun game though. Like it's addicting. Like I like this way more than Castlevania, which is a similar style of game. But this one Castlevania is just really slow for me. Like this is just fast paced. Every time you die, it's cool because you can just start over. There's unlimited continues on this, so that doesn't. I don't think this is one of the hardest games on Nintendo, as everyone makes it out to be, because it has unlimited continues. And you think you get 3 lives per continue, so no matter what, you always start back at the last like major checkpoint after a continue. Yeah, fast-paced, really challenging, really satisfying to beat this game. Really tough. Like I didn't think I was ever gonna beat this. When I finally did, I was addicted to it. So I no death ran it. I even posted a video of that. I no death ran this game. But that was not the hard part. The hard part was initially beating the game. But once you figure it out, you kind of realize it's kind of like a puzzle, like where you place your ninja or what items to get. So yeah, fantastic game, fantastic pace, great music too. A lot of these tunes in here stick with you. And another thing cool about this one is it was the first time I ever saw a game that seemed like a cartoon or a movie, because it has like cutscenes between each level, tells a little story. Very cool game. Okay, just because I'm a huge Jaws fan. Oh, yeah, Ninja Gaiden $14.90. I think I mentioned that. Next one. For $10.19, I had to put this on here because I'm a big Jaws fan. Jaws, the game, not by LJN, not too highly regarded, I think, but it's actually not a bad game. Just kind of simple game, kind of a quick game to beat. But it's probably my favorite Jaws game, probably my favorite shark game. Simple, it kind of plays like a shooter, slash RPG. You just got to keep leveling up your guy by traveling, moving your boat from dock to dock, and then your currency are conch shells, and the shark is constantly following you around. So you gotta wait till you're pretty powerful before you can take on the shark. But I always just love the vibe of this game. A really fun game. You can pop it in. If you know what you're doing, you could probably beat it in like 5 or 10 minutes. Or you can drag it out and have some fun with it. But I had to put Jaws on there. And then for $7.49, I have one of my all-time favorites, Kung Fu. The first game I ever got on my Nintendo. I think when we first got our Nintendo, when I was a kid, we got the Mario. And it came with Mario, and then we got this because my parents got it, must have been on sale. But I'm glad because I probably never would have played this if they hadn't got it for Christmas. But this is one of my favorite all-time games, like Kung Fu beat 'em up type style. Kind of just a 2D platform. You're traveling up the tower. Each level has a boss. You're fighting all kinds of goons on the way. Kind of simple game, kind of quick. You can probably beat this one in about 5 or 10 minutes as well. But it's pretty challenging if you don't know what you're doing. And then there's a second mode that's a little bit tougher. Really cool, kind of old school, like 70s martial art movie vibe. I think it was supposed to be based on Wheels on Mills with Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung movie. But it doesn't really resemble it that much. The guy's name is Thomas, and he's trying to save Sylvia. I think those are the names of the characters in Wheels on Mills. But I'm wondering if Mr. X is supposed to be Benny the Jet. I don't know. But there's all kinds of cool bosses. Each level is a different style of fighter. Really fun little game. There's little animals and traps that try to get you too. It's a fun game. I love nice pace, fun little game. And then the next one was the cheapest one on my list, but it's probably one of my favorite games for $5.12. Golgo 13 Top Secret Episode by Vic Tokai. And I don't really hear too many people praise this thing. The one thing I gotta give Pat the NES punk is he praises this game, and it deserves all the praise it should get. I think it's a small game, but it packs a lot into the small memory it has. A lot of people hate on it and don't understand it and think it's boring. A lot of the stuff is kind of confusing. Like I haven't beaten it in years. I only beat it one time ever. But what I like about this game is it's the closest thing to a maybe 60s or 70s James Bond movie video game adaptation. It's not based on James Bond. It's based on Duke Togo. He was kind of like an anime assassin or assassin character from manga or anime or something. But he's pretty much just the Japanese James Bond on this game. Really cool side-scrolling kind of shooter. You can talk to civilians to get clues. You can go into buildings to progress the story, to find contacts to talk to or whatever. All kinds of different gameplay, really ahead of its time. A lot of the contacts are females, and this guy beds as many women as James Bond, which is cool. Like you meet up with women in hotel rooms. I think like 2 or 3 different women he gets with, and little plot twist. There's a cool sniper level where you're on a helicopter and you're sniping a sniper that's hidden in a building. First-person view. There's some first-person maze levels. They don't look as good as Phantasy Star 1. They're kind of confusing, but there are like first-person shooter maze levels on an old game like this. They're really, really confusing. That's probably the most confusing part of the game. A lot of it's just like side-scroller shooter action. There are shoot 'em up, like plane shoot 'em up levels, and there's underwater scuba diving levels where like you fight squids and sharks and coral reef and all that. Yeah, really cool stuff. You might not be too impressed with the graphics on it, but I'm really impressed with the type of gameplay that this came up with. It has random encounters where you see a gun pop up and shoot at Duke Togo, and then it goes to a first-person mode where you're trying to shoot all the enemies on the screen. A lot of stuff they packed into this game. It has cool music too. One of my favorite theme songs for a video game is in here, the Duke Togo theme, which was used in the sequel to Moffat Conspiracy. Okay, so that one, this one was $8.84, and I had to put a wrestling game in here. And so I put this one. It's one I highly enjoyed when I was a kid. WWF WrestleMania Challenge. A really simple game, nothing too impressive about it, but it plays well. It's nice and smooth. There's just grapple, I think, and punch. So pretty simple wrestling game. You can body slam them. If you sneak up from behind, a lot of them have special moves. Like they have their signature moves in this game. The roster is incredible. Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Andre the Giant, Big Boss Man. I think Hacksaw Jim Duggan's on there, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and Ravishing Rick Rude. I don't think I'm missing anyone. And then like 2 generic characters, like I think it's called Yourself, like it's just a generic looking wrestler you could go through the arcade mode with. You can do 2-player co-op tag team tournament mode. Really fun stuff. All the music from the wrestlers in there. I always appreciate the 8-bit renditions of wrestlers' music. So Ravishing Rick Rude one's my favorite. The Hulk Hogan, Real American, Ultimate Warrior songs are all good. LJN, got 2 LJN games on here. I was gonna say something else about this one. The finishing moves. Each wrestler has their signature move. A lot of them, if you sneak up from behind and hit grapple, they do their move. Like Brutus the Barber Beefcake has the sleeper hold. Ravishing Rick Rude has his Rude Awakening neck breaker. If you climb up on the ropes, Macho Man has his elbow smash. So it was one of the earlier games I remember that the wrestlers actually had their finishing moves. Very cool. Now I had about $24 left, so I had to get this one for $23.90. Spent a little bit more, but I had to have this one on here. If you have an NES collection, you have to have Zelda. One of the best adventure games ever made. Once again, simple control, but very intricate game. A lot of different items, a lot of different dungeons, a lot of different secrets. A fun style of gameplay, like overhead view. Kind of that same type of game as Metroid, where you're unlocking different parts of the map by finding new items. Just fantastic vibe you get from this game. Wonderful music. When I first got this, it was like gold. I think we only got like 1 or 2 video games a year, and this was one of them. So that's a good addition to have. The shiny gold Zelda. It was like pulling out a piece of gold out of the package. Fantastic stuff. Zelda has to be on there. Wonderful adventure, like fun but simple little dungeons with boss fights. It started the whole Zelda trend where you find the compass, the key, and then the boss room. Pretty much everything that makes all the new Zelda games good were present in this one. And this one really feels open and kind of free roam style. So I had to have that one on there. My grand total came up to $99.70. I thought that was pretty good. I had to do some changes. I was having trouble. I almost didn't put Metroid. And I had like RBI Baseball, Renegade, and something else on there too. But in the end, I was thinking, well, I'd rather have Metroid than those other 2 or 3 games. So that's on there. And then I almost made the mistake of choosing regular vanilla Mario single standalone copy, which is a little bit more expensive than this one. So if you're gonna go with Mario, go with the 3-pack. And there's several different variations on this one. I think I have all 3 of them. And then there's one with just Duck Hunt and Mario. But this one was the cheapest from what I saw on price charting. So I thought that was a good little set. This is probably my childhood set right here. Other than the Mario 2 and 3. Nice, yeah, right there for $100. Very fun stuff. So shout out to all the others who have been doing this. Fun discussions to be had. I look forward to watching more of these. Other systems too is going to be fun. I want to do one with Game Boy or Sega Genesis because I've been enjoying doing this. Let me know how this looks back here. My room is so thrashed from being off work on medical leave, and the girls have thrashed the house, built forts everywhere. So I didn't have a good background. I'm gonna just try to put something back here on this green. Tell me how it looks. Anyway, fun times. Good talking to you all. Enjoy your video games.